And
how did you choose Lomachenko? Because
I did not choose him. He requested, Canelo requested. So we sent out a vote and we analyzed his history.
Ooh, Canelo and Lomachenko requested?
Absolutely.
Ooh, you just made headlines.
Lomachenko.
You just made headlines.
Lomachenko, top rank, requested. And let me tell you, we analyzed the request. Two-time Olympic champions. Two-time Olympic, 2 cycles Olympic champion. Champion in 3 different weight categories. And nobody can doubt he's in the top of the top of the top.
Define the franchise belt. Can you define it?
The franchise is not a belt. It's not a championship. It's a designation given to elite, unique fighters who carry the industry of the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko are 2 sensational fighters who carry the industry. There are 2 fighters who move up in weight, up and down in weight, and who are facing the best opposition as possible. So this is a new concept. It's going to take some time for it to be understood. In the meantime, I will take all the blame and all the punches, but this is not a popularity contest. This is a matter, innovation, visionary.
Explain Lomachenko's response. He said he had no words. That it was,
I believe it's a lost in translation situation between his promotion and his management. He was in Cancun and he was very happy, and he was simply, we signed the document and everything seemed fine until an interview in Ukraine came yesterday. I don't care, truthfully. We are focusing on one small matter that is unified. I'd rather have the best fights happen than to worry about what happens if. What happens if he loses, then it's not unified. How many unified champions immediately lose a belt? Because they are given a mandatory. How do you get to be mandatory? What's the process to be mandatory?
If you know, you know. And if you know what time it is, then you already know we about to have a field day with this one. Now, the WBC president, Sulaiman, came out and stated that it was Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko who requested the franchise title. Now, that killed the notion of Canelo Alvarez claiming that he didn't know or he wasn't informed that Charlo was his mandatory and he had to fulfill his mandatory obligations. And that also killed the notion of Lomachenko claiming that it was the WBC who offered him the franchise title. Now, that being said, Barbershop had a great interview with the WBC president, so I'm going to leave the link for the video in the description box below, so make sure y'all check that out. Now, you could hide the truth, but the truth will eventually come out. Now, if you tell the truth from the get-go, then you don't have to tell 100 lies to cover up, because the truth, no matter what you do, it will find its way out. And now it's safe to say that both Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko done got caught capping without a cap on. Lomachenko a day ago had an interview and he stated that it was the WBC who awarded him this title, and he's grateful. However, he didn't appreciate them lying on his behalf. Meanwhile, y'all just heard the WBC president exposing Lomachenko, stating that it was Canelo and Lomachenko and their team requesting this franchise title, basically to avoid their mandatories, 2 fighters from the coincidental list, and that's Charlo and Devin Haney. And best believe that wasn't a coincidence either. Let me explain why. Now, old media will have you believing that Lomachenko and Canelo Alvarez aren't avoiding these fighters from the coincidental list. And by their own admission, they stated that both of the fighters got elevated. However, the WBC president just debunked that because he stated it wasn't a title, it's not a belt. The franchise title is a recognition for a fighter that's good for the industry of boxing. And them statements alone proves and shows that us new media are the most reliable source when it comes to boxing today. Because that basically co-signs everything we've been preaching from day one. So let me keep on preaching. If the WBC Franchise title is a recognition, then how come Lomachenko got stripped of his belt? How come Canelo Alvarez got stripped of his belt? How come they didn't keep that belt and they got the recognition for being the Franchise champion? I'll tell you why. Because it's a way to maneuver. It's a witness protection belt that was made to avoid the fighters from the coincidentalist. Not to make the best fights happen, but it's exactly the opposite reason. To avoid the best fights. The fights that are 50-50 where these fighters from the hope list like Lomachenko and Canelo Alvarez could possibly lose. Because if Sulaiman is sincere about his comments, which I believe he is, then how come Deontay Wilder wasn't recognized as the WBC first Franchise champion? And I know a lot of people are going to come and say, oh, well, Deontay Wilder is not interested in it because he want to fight his mandatory. But that's beside the point. My point is, if Deontay Wilder is about to be a super champion, a true super champion that is about to defend his title for the 10th time, and that's how fighters back in the day became super champions, where they didn't have to fight their mandatory anymore because they done defended their title 10 times. Then how come Deontay Wilder didn't get elevated to this Franchise title when he has the most title defenses and held the title for the longest? And keep in mind, Deontay Wilder is the face of boxing, hate or love it. He's the most popular boxer in the world according to ESPN, and that's a network that Deontay Wilder doesn't even fight on. So how come the WBC didn't give Deontay Wilder that recognition? I'll tell you why. Because Deontay Wilder is not ducking any smoke. He wants all the smoke. And ironically enough, they awarded this title to Canelo Alvarez, a fighter that actually threw the WBC title away when they was forcing him to fight Gennady Golovkin after he beat Cotto. Ironically enough, they gave this Franchise title to Lomachenko that won a vacant title against Luke Campbell, where by the WBC own rules, if you win a vacant title, you have to defend it against 2 mandatories to prove that you're a real champion. But when it comes to No-Machenko, he don't have to oblige by the WBC rules and fulfill his mandatory obligations. And if you ask how come, it's because Lomachenko is from the hope list. And when you from the hope list, you get treated different. I mean, you turn pro and your second bout, you fight for a title. When you haven't proven a thing in the pros, you lose that title shot and you get another title for a vacant belt. Then you move up in weight and get another title shot. Then you fight for a vacant belt when you're already a champion at 135, a 2-time world champion in fact, and you holding 2 different straps. And then you win the vacant belt and don't have to oblige by the rules and fight your mandatory Devin Haney. Why? Because he too tough. Not the other way around. Because if it was a Corolla, Lomachenko would have fought him in a heartbeat. That being said, to old media, the people who was reporting that Canelo and Lomachenko got elevated, the WBC president, Sulaiman, just made y'all look like a bunch of fools. So y'all can thank him for that when y'all see him. Now the WBC president made himself look worse when he was responding to why they made this WBC Franchise title. And he stated it's because they didn't want to stop these mega fights from happening. Which is the other way around. This Franchise title is made for witness protection, so they could stop these mega fights from happening. Because in the sport of boxing, we all know there's a lot of different promoters, there's a lot of different networks. It's not like the UFC where all the fighters are under one banner. So there is ways to maneuver. So when you create this Franchise title that you could win but you can't lose, and you don't have no mandatory, then No-Machenko is not forced to fight anybody. However, if you left it how it was and you forced the mandatory, then Lomachenko had no choice but to fight a Devin Haney. And best believe that's a mega fight, because Devin Haney versus Lomachenko is possibly Lomachenko's biggest fight till this day. It's bigger than the Luke Campbell fight, it's bigger than the Corolla fight for sure, and it's bigger than most of Lomachenko fights. Not the other way around. So how you gonna sit here and tell us that you made this title to make the most important fights in boxing when it's not true? And then when he was responding to the question if Lomachenko beat Comey or Lopez winner, will he be the unified champion or the undisputed champion, he danced around that question. But he was like a baby trying to crawl, because he didn't make any sense. And that's how you know new media, we making a difference. New media, we the past, present, and the future of boxing entertainment. Because we have organizations like the WBC retracting their statements, and we have old media panicking, not knowing what to do after they stated time and time again that both fighters got elevated, and Sulaiman made them look like a bunch of fools. Now they got to take a bite of this humble pie, because they out here making us seem like prophets the way we preaching the truth, and they out here contradicting themselves looking for answers. But they don't have the answers, Sway. The WBC president don't have the answers, Sway. Nobody has the answers other than new media. So after being right for the 1,000th time, maybe this is another reason why you should subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute, and if you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't, and listen to old media. So what Lomachenko has to say now, because I'm pretty sure he out here panicking like Kanye was, answering and asking at the same time. You don't have the answer, Sway. But Lomachenko is going to convince you that Devin Haney ain't fought nobody. Who is Devin Haney? Who have he fought? Meanwhile, Devin Haney does pads on YouTube and get 1 million views. And at the same time, Lomachenko been promoted since he turned pro, claiming he's the greatest since Muhammad Ali, and he can't even sell in the States. It's because it's not organic, it's not true, and people can see through Lomachenko and Bob Arum like you can see through a glass or a window. Boxing fans aren't a bunch of fools. We know what time it is. And if you part of new media, subscribe below and check out my video that I made of Devin Haney responding to Lomachenko comments. Who's Devin Haney? Whom have he fought? I guess Lomachenko done forgot that he didn't fight nobody when he got a title against Salido, and then when he lost that bout, got another title against Gary Russell for a vacant belt when he just lost the bout prior to that. But I guess he forgot that he haven't proven a thing then. However, he gonna question Devin Haney being his mandatory when he just fought a Corolla. So I'm gonna leave a link for that video in the comment section below, so make sure y'all check that out. But the reason I brought that up, Salido and Gary Russell didn't have to fight Lomachenko then, but they fought him anyways. So that proves that they fighters that will fight anybody, unlike No-Machenko. Terrence Crawford, he didn't have to fight Flex Diaz. He could have avoided him like Lomachenko is avoiding Devin Haney. Terrence Crawford didn't have to fight Postal, but he fought him anyways to prove he pound for pound number one, and that's why he the true pound for pound. Not No-Machenko and not Canelo Alvarez, who are requesting titles for witness protection where they paying 10% instead of 2%. Keep in mind, they never defended their WBC titles. So how are you getting elevated where that's already debunked? So that being said, I could go all day, but we're going to talk more about this during my split decision boxing debate show. So be on the lookout for the cookout. We back on the map and we finna take over. So shout out to new media, hashtag new media, hashtag Aki, hashtag DBN. Shout out to Deontay for giving me the opportunity to post on his platform. He sees something in your boy, he believes in your boy, and you best believe he not mistaken. So subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't and listen to old media or Canelo Lomachenko fans. And click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post or go live. Follow Lunatoon Boxing for the funniest boxing meme and to be continued on the next episode of Aki TV. Peace, and we out.